Mike Ditka was like the team he played for, authentic and hard-working.
I just think the Bears, going back to the days I played, they stood for something. They stood for something before I got there. It was a toughness. They stood for what this city stands for, a toughness. The city of big shoulders, a broad shoulder, whatever you want to call it. It's a work ethic. It's, get down and take your lunch bucket to work, put in 8 hours, come home.
Ditka hated to lose. His team learned that firsthand after a pair of tough defeats in 1983.
I was just telling them, I wasn't as mad as I was trying to make an emphasis of a fact, and as I said something, I swung my right hand and I hit the equipment trunk. I thought I was going to be a tough guy. Bang! Well, I felt the bone shatter. I knew I broke my wrist, and so we always say a prayer after the game, and so I told Vince Evans at that time, I said, Vince, you better lead him in prayer. I got to go see the doctor. I went in, and of course I had broke my hand or my wrist, whatever you call it. So they put a cast on it. So the next week, Denver came in to play us. And so my pep talk before the game was I stood up in front of them and I went, how about winning one for old Lefty?
Ditka's patience was tested often by Jim McMahon, but eventually the two learned to coexist and thrive.
With McMahon audibling, it was fine. I had quarterbacks before him that audibled that it wasn't fine because it was stupid.
What is it? You got a blunt lead? Guy 49G.
No, not dive G!
I thought that.
Oh, drag!
But with him, it wasn't stupid. At least you could understand what he was doing. I'm changing from this to this. But he never put us in a real stupid position, believe me.
Ditka was an offensive coach, but in 1985, the Bears' offense was completely overshadowed by its history-making defense. It didn't matter to Ditka. He didn't care who got the credit, as long as the Bears won.
Yeah, well, that's an understatement. Of course we got to overshadow, rightfully so. People don't say, you remember that Bears offense in 85? That juggernaut?
1985 was a magical season for Mike Ditka. He and his team enjoyed every second of their Super Bowl ride.
I wish I could stand here today in front of people and say, God, I was the reason we won. I'm not the reason. I was the right guy in the right place at the right time. If football is not fun, don't do it. There's no team in the history of football that had more fun than those guys. I'm sure a lot of it I didn't know about at that time, but I've found out about it since. But you know what? That's okay. They showed up and played, and they practiced. And, they took care of each other, and they stood up for each other. I would say one thing, they would have relished the opportunity to play anybody, those guys. They were quite a group of guys. It was fun.